do since Walt Clyde Frazier and Earl of Pearl Monroe. I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I feel about it. And I'm here to tell you right now, Kevin Durant is so authentically that dude that I swear to you, my mentality is very, very simple. I need him. I ain't losing him. I'd offer him the max. Now, here's where it gets tricky. If I'm Golden State, who can offer him more than anybody, because they can just give him an additional year. They can give him 5 years, whereas the Knicks can give him more than 4. They're the ones in position to pay him the super max if they so chose to give it to him, which is $221 million. If I am the Golden State Warriors, I offer it to Kevin Durant too. Even if I ultimately decide I'm going to move him and trade him, I give Kevin Durant that money. You know why? Because with all the money that they're throwing into Steph Curry, that they will throw into Draymond Green, and a guy like a Klay Thompson, the Warriors are not going to have but so much maneuverability to do anything. So because that's my reality, if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I've got a tremendous asset in Kevin Durant that I could parlay into future assets that I may not have at my disposal at this particular moment in time. I'd sign him. I'd get him to sign a Supermax. And then you know what? He can rehab with us. And then after that, when he's ready to play, we'll trade him to somebody else and make sure we get some assets in return. Now, if you Kevin Durant, you may elect not to do that because that puts the Warriors in control of your future instead of you having your own control, which is something that's very, very important to Kevin Durant. So if he wants his own control, he goes to the Knicks or the Nets as a free agent. Neither has to surrender assets in order to acquire him. And plus, he's so significant to their vision for the future that they're going to capitulate to some of the things that he wants. He has more control, but not more money.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN. The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Stephen A. Smith Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and you can always get in touch with the show through the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer gives you multiple quote options so you can pick what's right for you. See for yourself at progressive.com. The Brooklyn Nets, and for that matter, perhaps several teams in the league, have one hell of a question before them. And that is, would you rather have Kyrie Irving or D'Angelo Russell? You tell me what you think. 888-729-3776 on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. It's Will Kane filling in for Stephen A. today. You can normally catch me 3 to 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News. Kyrie Irving's an interesting debate in and of himself. Set aside for a moment Kyrie versus D'Angelo Russell. Most everyone's offseason plan, whether or not it's been the New York Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets, has been, let's get Kyrie and KD. Let's bring them together. Let's clear out 2 max cap slots, and we can bring in 2 superstars. But I don't think it's almost become shorthand, right? It's become something we say without really analyzing. Is that 2 superstars? Is that 2 best players on a championship team? Is that 2 1A players? Is Kyrie really all of those things? And if he's not, and you can't get KD, if he stays in Golden State, or chooses to go to the Knicks by himself, and the Nets have a choice in front of them, do you want Kyrie Irving by himself? Do you learn the lessons of history? I'll begin to that in just a moment here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. But let me hit up the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Let me first go to David in Michigan. What's up, David? You're on the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Oh, not much. So I was thumbing through Twitter today, and I saw a tweet from the Houston Rockets organization about basically how they thought the Harden should have won the MVP, and it just looks pretty petty to me in a long line of petty things that they do. And wanted to get your take on it and listen. So
thanks for the call, David. Yeah. I mean, in a way, for any non-vested party, it obviously comes off looking a little petty. The one thing I will say I like that the Rockets do is this. They're there for their team, their players, and their fans. The Rockets have their guys back, and their guy is James Harden. Man, I kind of dig that. I kind of get that because, I don't know, we're not out here for casual fandom. We're not out here to try to win over the unwinnable. You're there for your team. That's one of the things I love about sports. It's one of the few areas where not just is it acceptable, but it's probably mentally healthy to say, no, man, this is my arbitrary squad. This is who I'm down with, and I'm not with anybody else. Look, any of you guys that know me, who've seen me on First Take or heard me on the Will Cain Show, you know a few things about me. And probably at the top of your list that you know is, oh my God, that guy is a Dallas Cowboy homer. But look, I grew up an hour outside of Dallas in a small town named Sherman, Texas. And I believe that you're born to your teams. I was born to the Mavericks, the Cowboys, the Texas Rangers. And I got to the Texas Longhorns through education. And I want my team to be like a little Greek city-state with a wall around it, where all of us fans have each other's backs and we believe, sometimes to our detriment, sometimes maybe when we're wrong. You know, you got Kat running the show, you got Pat riding shotgun today here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, and Pat looks at me cross-eyed every time I bring up the city of Dallas. Because why? Because he lives inside the city-state of Philadelphia. And it's not my fault inside the city-state of Philadelphia they drink Kool-Aid that makes you crazy. But I dig that they have each other's back. I dig the hate. I dig what Houston does. That being said, you got to hear some sound I have from Houston Rockets GM Daryl Morey, who said a few things about where the Rockets are. Are they the front runners for next year? Are they going to get another player? Do Chris Paul and James Harden really have it out? Because I like Daryl Morey, but I don't like you spinning BS. As I said earlier, pumping sunshine up my butt. Pat and Kat didn't even know that was a real thing. Never heard that saying. It was from Top Gun, man. That's a real saying.
Doesn't exist.
It's real. And right now, New York Knicks fans are blinded by the sunshine being pumped their way. Blinded from the bottom up. I think the Rockets are trying to blind the rest of us with a little smoke. We'll get into that, and would you really want Kyrie next?